Hello, I'm David D. Hilster. I'm a critical thinker, dissident science, and if you're not buying exactly what mainstream physics and cosmology are selling, then this is the place for you. There are literally thousands and thousands of scientists from around the world who've been working for decades outside the mainstream, who have identified problems, fixed those problems, and who are proposing new theories and ideas. So you won't find anything like this on YouTube, so you want to make sure you hit on the subscribe button below and the little bell next to it so you'll be alerted when our next video drops. 6 minutes, that's why I'm promising my subscribers, because saying they're a little too long, they don't have time to watch these whole things, so I'm going to keep them shorter today. But we're going to talk about Stephen Hawking's final scientific paper, explores mysteries of the multiverse, but it's not a big deal. I sort of like this one because it's a little bit less worshipy, because it's in popular science, which is pretty more like popular mechanics. It's maybe more physical, more feet on the ground, and that's why I was hoping, not so much, but a little bit. But regardless, I liked it. And let's take a look at this whole thing about Stephen Hawking. If you're curious as what we critical thinkers say, think, and you want to stay tuned to the end of this, because I'm going to tell you what you really should be reading, and it ain't this. Okay? Let's keep going with this article. Stephen Hawking's death incited us all to take a moment and think about how this famed physicist impacted the scientific world and the myriad of ways his research affect the way we think about the universe. For the worse. And it says, while it's not exactly science-shattering many outlets are reporting it to be, that is, many people are reporting this, well, this is earth-shattering, but it still puts a pretty interesting Hawking-esque spin on one of theoretical physics' most discussed concepts, the multiverse. What's a multiverse? It means there's lots of different universes instead of one, which we all live in, which is one universe. So the idea of multiverse isn't good. There's actually a better answer to that. And I'll tell you. So Hawking and Hertog created a framework that's simpler than the multiverse that limits how many new universes could form, and ensures that they adhere to the same laws of physics as our known universe. What he was basically doing, I call this part of it, this is Hawking's comfortable universe theory, so that, when we're making these Star Wars and all these other things about the future, that we'll have we'll think they're going to look like us. They sort of look like fish that walk or squid that walk, So he's making sure we feel comfortable in these multiverses, and I think that's very important. Shoot me now. Okay, let's keep going. It's a pretty neat idea. It's not just exceptional. In practical terms, it's not practical at all. I wonder if this guy is really sort of not believing anything, and he was assigned to write something about this and pretend he thought it was trying to make it interesting. The original no boundary proposal is speculative, and by extension, so are these latest conclusions. So it's not practical at all. It's speculative. It's speculation on top of speculation. Oh well. I don't even read all this. It just says this theory is not falsifiable because everything is possible. I don't need to say anything more, folks. This is real journalists in real magazines writing what they think is real. Well, maybe they don't think that, but they have to write and pretend that it is real physics. So instead of the excitement over this paper, it might really just be the fact that it's Hawking's last paper. You think? And of course, Hawking himself is pretty polemic in the sense that his popularity really comes from more that he was in a wheelchair and he's got that whole story about him, and his disease is way more interesting than his work because his work is nuts. I said it, yes. And yes, he was handicapped, but it doesn't matter. We can still criticize and say his science and mainstream science is lost and it's going to be thrown away. All this stuff will not be remembered. But it would be a bit foolish to make it out as larger than it is. Yay! That's why I picked this one. So, what do we think we should do? What do I recommend you read? I recommend Borchardt, Dr. Glen Borchardt, and Dr. Glen Borchardt, and read about infinity. You can get his latest book, Infinite Universe Theory, which is, in the Kindle edition, $10. It's worth the read. One that I really, really like is the scientific worldview. He's also written the universal cycle theory, but here it is, a brand new copy of this book, in fact, I have some because we take them to the conference and I sell them for him because I believe in his work so much. Beyond Newton and Einstein, Glen Borchardt, PhD. Now, what do we say about universes then? I told you I give you it. I'm coming up on the last minute. I'm going to give you the answer. Well, what is the answer? Well, the answer comes from that there's infinity all the way up and all the way down. So if you take my favorite ball right here, you take this one, this is made of particles, and these particles have smaller particles, and those particles have smaller particles, those have smaller particles. So there's like infinite number of worlds in this thing all the way down. But you know what? It's got an X and Y coordinate that no one else occupies. There's no parallel anything. That's the key. I'm coming up on 5:36, so you guys who are my subscribers, I hope you enjoy. I'm keeping these shorter. And remember what I say, don't ever take anything I say on faith. Read. And I say, read this. Throw out Hawking. Sorry, Hawking. Stay critical. Stay thinking. I am Dave D. Hilster, your science therapist. Ciao for now.